Welcome back, everybody, to the ALG podcast. By the time you're listening to this, it is Friday afternoon. So happy Friday. Let's get ready for the fucking weekend.
I got to sing again.
Oh, you're going to sing one more time?
It's Friday, getting down on Friday.
Dave really wants this to be the theme song. He really does.
All right, now we're good.
Yeah. All right. That's Dave, everybody. Today, I'm joined by our very, very special guest, someone who I'm really excited to sit down and talk to today. We're joined today by Dusty Lost 300, otherwise known as his real name, Dustin Hall. Dusty, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Doing good. Happy Flappy Friday to all of you out there.
Yes.
There we go. Yes, thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited. We've been going back for a while.
Hell yeah, we've been going back for a minute.
I just got introduced to David, so
and then we just started, so this is fascinating. we got a little bit of everything here.
It's gonna be real good.
And as always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, David Roden, otherwise known as Fit_D-Rock. And for the remainder of the podcast, he'll probably go by Dave because he'll piss me off at one point or another.
Dave.
So let's just hop on into it. Dusty, you are what some would call an elite. You know, I've done some talking. I've done my research. Before, I made a major transformation in my life, I may have stumbled across your page once or twice. And as far as the elites go in the Instagram weight loss community, I can say that you're on that Mount Rushmore.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to say, because losing 300 pounds, like it doesn't really matter because you have the blue check mark. So like you could lose 3 pounds or 300, like it doesn't matter because you have the blue check mark. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I don't like. I was like, Instagram. What do I do with this? do I don't. Oh,
do I get money now?
Got. Oh, so now because I usually when I use music and workout videos, I'll message the artist, hey, I appreciate your music. Hey, I'm posting a video. I have the background, and none of them will say anything. What's changed is now the artist will say something back. I'm like, oh, that's cute. You're saying something back now. Oh, okay. So
the blue check works wonders, man.
It allows me to use a lot more music on my videos because I like background music. I like to set the tone, set the theme of the posts and stuff like that. I did one today with me and my wife, and the music just went with it. So I appreciate that part.
That's actually respect because so I had a past in digital marketing, and I had some friends that had 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 followers on Instagram, and people don't know that you can't just use people's music in their videos. And I had a friend of mine who had 250,000 followers, just organic, just through fitness. And she had her whole account taken down because she had used too much on like fake, like other people's music for years. And they finally were just like, nope, your account's banned. And you're like,
wow.
What? Yeah. I happened like 2 years ago.
Livelihood. That's like, so
what do I do now? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So is that like a secret backdoor channel that I don't know about, that once you get that blue check, you don't even have to go through the guidelines and you're allowed to use whatever music you want as long as you say, hey, Ludacris, I'm using your music, and he sees the blue check. He's like, ayo.
Hey. What is it? The blue check. You know what it was? I submitted for the blue check mark 2 times before that. And they say it's basic stuff. Just let them know who you are. And I kept getting denied. And I think the reason for it is you don't have your face in it. So I literally submitted a picture of myself doing this. And then I put my ID with it. And somebody in some office in Instagram was literally like, doot, 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 doot. Yeah, that's him.
Wow.
And it was good. It was
That's really funny because I attest, like I've requested it. I requested it twice. And I keep attesting it to the fact that my license still has a fat version of myself as the picture. So I'm just like, oh, who's ever in the Instagram office is like, oh, that fat fuck's not him. What the fuck
you
is
still
this?
have you still have a fat driver's license?
Yeah, I do. It's I can't even get into clubs half the time anymore. Like I don't even know why I just don't go take a new picture. Well, COVID kind of stopped me from taking a new picture. But.
Yeah, that actually had me.
Anyone above 6,000, just from what I've read, it's important to get the check mark because it allows you a better conversation if you're going to work with somebody. So there's no doubt in our health community, we're going to work with brands that we like.
Exactly.
And they appreciate that check mark. And so if you're above 6,000, request it and go after it because it's not like, it doesn't really get you anything. It doesn't really do anything for you, like tangibly. but you get more messages. I know you'll never read this. And it's like, well, why wouldn't I read it? Like,
Right. I hate those messages.
It's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like publishing my first book. As soon as
I
you say
saw
you're a
that.
published
I need to
author,
get into that. Yeah, I probably need to ask you offline about the book route, because I saw that. And the route of what you do with what you've done with losing weight and making it tangibly available to somebody, I'm like, wow, I admire that. Like, I immediately saw the book. I just haven't read it yet. So
yeah, but that was the whole thing to me, was like my story's the same. I've still lost 200 pounds, but now he's a published author. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, wait. My story's the same regardless of published book.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And like,
exactly.
The doors definitely did open after I published the book.
And we have to, especially if you're on Instagram and you're sharing before and afters, I almost think it's not a requirement, but it's almost
necessary. Yeah.
because of how many people take the photos and repost it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
And
I'm on so many
account will
Herbalife
grow.
Instagrams. So
Right?
many Herbalife.
How many accounts will grow? An account will grow from 0 to 100,000 within a year just by posting before and afters of accounts that they didn't get authorization from.
Yep.
And so no wonder why, you guys and we will post before and afters, and the check mark won't easily come, simply because people are taking our photos and reposting it. And so the authenticity of that blue check mark is important, and to go after it, because someone will realize, I never did keto.
Right.
Yeah, I'm on almost every keto page, yet I've never done keto. I've never done the 24-hour lose 80 pounds in 10 seconds. So you need somebody of authenticity to say, hey, I didn't do that, and don't do that, because that's how I got to 500 pounds. I fell for the diet culture of things.
Fact.
And so I think it's important especially if you're posting real stuff. Like, this is your before and afters. What, John, JR, what do we
Whatever you want to call me, baby. Whatever. You can call me whatever you want.
JR, is that good?
Yeah, JR's perfect, baby. You said it the right way.
Jarp's journey is
Don't say
actually
Jarp's journey, actually. I'll end the call now.
Your lower stomach before and after, the ones that you post, I'm like, are you?
Thank you,
like,
bro.
it's remarkable. David, I haven't even gotten to yours. Like, I haven't even sat on the couch and just scrolled yet. Like, I need to do that. But I'm just, JR, I've been following you for quite some time, and it's the lower stomach that I'm just like,
thank you.
Thank
you. You should see the lower in person, baby. I'll take you on a little ride. Hey.
Well, I'll take
there.
the deck. Is deck here available? No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have a good time today. Dusty is full of energy.
And we start off with Instagram.
I love energy. Love it. And also, we're going to edit out that bit about how to get a blue check mark, because that's vital information, and we could sell that for millions of dollars.
Well, we should. I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get to the reason, the meat and potatoes of why people are here. Dusty lost 300. How the fuck did Dusty lose 300? Actually,
and how did you get there?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to know. How did you get there to 538 pounds?
The yo-yo diet effect, and never actually dealing with this, and never dealing with the mental side. I could lose 10, 20 pounds, but my mind wouldn't lose 10, 20 pounds. I would get down to 20-pound loss mark. And then the old me, the way I mentally process, it's almost kind of like my mind had a mental pathway of how to process life, process stress, process food. Right. And that process got me to a weight. Hey, I wanted to lose weight, so I wanted an extreme diet. I did whatever I could to lose as much weight as quick as possible, never really working on the mental side, but working on the physical and looking at the physical and losing weight, then gaining it back, and understanding that my body, for better or for worse, is looking out for me in the sense that if I'm losing 20 pounds real quick, my body's like, whoa, what are you doing? Right. And so mentally and chemically inside, whatever it was, my body said, okay, you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, I'm going to get you that 20 pounds back and add an extra 10. So that way, if you try to lose weight again, I've got a little bit of a buffer. And so 534 pounds was a bad relationship with food, a bad relationship with stress and emotional eating, and going through the motion of the body saying, all right, let me protect myself. And so I have so many times where I went on crash diets and they failed. lost a little bit, gained a little bit more, lost a little bit, and it finally yo-yoed all the way up to 534 pounds. And
What's your favorite crash diet?
I was about to know. I was like, that was big.
HCG.
You did the
drops underneath
HCG?
the tongue.
No
Oh, yeah.
way.
So
Okay.
10 drops. So I lost 64 pounds, and I actually wrote on a map the daily loss per day, and I was losing fantastic amount of weight. It was 500 calories a day, and it was 10 HCG drops underneath the tongue. My wife and I did it, and my wife lost hair. I lost a whole bunch of weights, and I remember actually looking at the scale at the end of HCG, looking at 304. And that was the first day I could go back to loading or go back to eating regular. And I remember standing at the scale, looking at 304, and never seeing the scale ever go lower than that up until, you know, my latest journey. So HCG was my, oh man, like I 10 drops and I'm going to lose weight.
I love it because it's just, cause you're the first. Because I actually researched ACG about, because I'm fascinated with nutrition plans, and I always the diet word is awful, but I do get fascinated like on how I'm a science guy. So I'm like, I have a biomed degree. My dad's actually a heart doctor, and so how this turned into 410 pounds is fascinating too by itself, considering my medical background. And HCG was after I'd already lost like 125, 130. I looked into it. I was like, this is fascinating. How does this work? And like you research into it, I'm like, well, you're on a 500 calorie caloric deficit a day. So that by itself makes sense.
And how much did these drops cost? I've always wondered that.
So it was $40 for a 30-day supply.
Wow. You know, cocaine and hookers was cheaper, right?
$40 for 30 that cocaine.
30 days. How long does it last? How long does it last?
It's the 30-day supply.
Yeah,
$40
a month.
No, I'm saying okay, $40 a month to lose weight. How long did it take you on the diet?
So I lost a pound a day. So I lost 64 pounds in. Oh no, 1 to 2 pounds a day. I remember. So it was 34 days. And I lost 60 pounds.
Oh, all right, I take back what I said.
Yeah,
but hookers and cocaine would have been a lot more fun than taking drops.
A lot more fun.
500
definitely
calories.
not cheaper.
Yeah,
34 days, and I have it on the map. And I took a picture of the map of every single day, and I was so proud. In fact, I took a lot of before and afters, thinking that was going to be I'm going to lose the weights. I'm going to lose the weights, and
now I am fascinating off of that. Just a question. Obviously, again, like. Not very healthy, not sustainable at all. But did it actually like help curb appetite, like they say? Like, did the HCG actually help with that, or no? Did you just white knuckle it?
At first I white knuckled it. It just at first you just gotta bear with it. I had done elongating fasting before, and it was similar to that. So I have. For crash diet purposes, I have gone on a 40-day just water fast.
You've done 40?
Yeah, so I did 40. Okay. Now, I started off with the good intention, but it quickly turned into, wow, I'm losing weight pretty quick. I'm just going to stay on this thing. And so it felt very similar that I remember after day 17 of the water fast, I didn't feel hungry anymore. I just didn't care. And this was right after I got married. So mind you, when you get married, you're a little bit busier with your wife. And so I am depleted of energy. I've got nothing. And I remember laying in bed every single night, not being able to do much because I'm intaking no calories. But that was probably my favorite was HCG. The most dangerous was that one because I had Taco Bell 2 days after I stepped back into the cycle of food.
Oh my gosh.
That is detrimental to you can die easy. You can die. And I don't.
It's interesting because like even because I mean I promote a 3 to 5 day water fast once to twice a year. I'm not talking about 10, 15, 30 days, but like there are some good health benefits for a 3 to 5 day water fast as long as your intent is not, hey, I want to lose weight. If your intent is the other scientific stuff based on it, like cool. But I will admit I made that mistake one time because I was doing it purely on the intent of like autophagia and these other actions of extended fasting. And I was telling a buddy of mine who's all about instant gratification about it. And sure enough, before I knew it, he was using it and going, I do a 3-day fast. Then he has McDonald's afterwards. And I'm like, bro, no. That's not how this works.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was bad, and that's where actually my gout was one of the things I
Ooh,
dealt with the first that first 100 pounds of my journey this
yes.
time around was gout, to where I would take pain medication just to go to the gym, because I knew that if I stopped going to the gym, I would deter my success. And so I had a lot of just bad. How'd you get to 534 pounds? I was just a hot mess of
Yeah.
thinking that water fast for that extended amount of time and getting back into Taco Bell. Like, I just had so many misfires that
Right.
if you look at a drug addict and you can see a physical itch, you can see someone addicted to heroin. You
Right.
can't see, you see them overweight, but I almost looked, as a heroin addict looks on the outside, is how my mind looked on the inside.
Right.
It was a hot, heaping mess. And
So what was your, because I love how you just you go just straight diving into the diet roller coaster, and how, and it eventually turns into a terrible place. And food seemed to be a mechanism for something. So what was it? Like,
Uh, it was a dependency for stress. It was a dependency for, I hope this is answering the question. It was,
Yeah.
I dealt with stress, and I had a very high stress towards the end of kind of getting up to 534 pounds. I had a very stressful job, and I was dealing with a lot of things. From my wife lost her dad, and he was the staple of the family, the staple of the household, and he supported the family, and I had to shift roles to be the support for the family to start. My wife and I were a year into being married, and we moved out of our apartment immediately. We moved in with the family to be kind of that all-around support. And financially, I was the support to start with. So that burden of the emotions, the stress, the hurt, the pain, all came out in something that felt good.
mhm.
Food felt good. Food
Right.
tastes good. And so I can wallow, and just sit in my isolation and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that food. And that, on top of a whole lifetime of 32 years of bad habits and everything in between, it was just the perfect storm for me to get to the worst point. So food was my getaway.
Yeah, that security blanket. I think that that's very, very relatable to a lot of people who are on this journey or, experiencing that struggle. So you said 32 years. So you were a heavy kid,
I was
you,
born 11 pounds, 7 ounces,
oof.
C-section from a mom. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, every single day. But I was born 11 pounds, and I always remember being big. I don't remember not being big, and I
Yeah.
remember turning the corner to getting kind of really obese when I broke my leg 3 times on the same leg, back to back to back.
Jesus.
And it was in different ways every time. I just fell off a bike, broke my leg. Someone pulled me down from some monkey bars, broke it, and then another way on a bike, I broke it. And so I would sit, and my mom's Cuban. She cooks. My mom's Cuban, but my grandma and great grandma were alive at that time. They babysat me, and they cooked authentic Cuban food.
Oof.
So the cockroaches in the microwave lights, where you see the time, but you also see them crawling, that is the authenticity of that Cuban food, was fed to me every night. The ice cream man knew me my first name. I remember, even when I was young, I had a cast for my broken leg. The ice cream man gave me a look because I was dragging my cast along the sidewalk to catch the ice cream truck. And I remember making a white stain on the cement and having a hole in the heel of my cast, just as I was trying to drag myself to the ice cream man. I
My
had the
man.
SpongeBob, the strawberry short. I had like 3 ice creams and then Cuban food. So yeah, ever since I was a kid, I was the overweight. Oh, look at him, he's fat.
I feel you. So it was more of like you walk into a room and it was like the circus animal effect. I
It
feel like
was,
we've
yeah.
all kind of experienced that. All eyes on me at all times, and it's not always for the greatest thing, but they're there. And then I feel like you could kind of attest that to why your personality is kind of the way it is.
Oh yeah.
Very outgoing, very funny. I feel like you and I have a very similar personality. Maybe I curse a little bit more than you do, but we've never hung out, behind closed doors. So I really can't tell you. But I know that I'm a potty mouth, and I attest that to
I'm a
just
potty mouth.
I've never actually used that phrase ever in my whole entire life, and I never want to use it again. Ever. I didn't even feel good coming out. I just want everyone to know that. I said potty mouth, and I'm like, wow, I hate it. I hate who I am.
Respect.
Grandma.
Oh yeah, humor, deflection all day long. If I can get you to focus on not how I look, but on what I do, then I will take security in knowing that you're laughing at me, or laughing with me, or laughing at my joke, rather than accepting me for who I am. And so I am the manifestation of what I appreciate from humor and what it brings: laughter, the feel good, the joy. But also the side of it to where I got to this point because it was deflection. I had to get your mind off of how I looked, because I love that. Like the way I looked my entire life. So it's not to say, humor is, oh, okay, you've got to run away from humor as you accept yourself more. Like, no, I enjoy making people laugh, but a lot of that foundation started off my entire life from just deflecting.
Exactly. No, I feel that. So was there ever a point in time where someone sat you down as a maybe a young adult or a child that was like, hey, Dusty, you're a little heavy, or, you're kind of husky, or you're a little chubby, or anything like that? Because I specifically remember those conversations growing up. Go ahead, David.
I was about to use the you're fluffy or damn.
Yeah, I had the statements as I remember making a video just recapping statements that were made. I remember walking home from middle school and having people yell out of the car, and these were grown adults, lose some weight, fatty. I remember, being in the household and having my sister have a good friend over, and she's looking at my plate. You're going to eat all of that? Like, you're just going to get fatter. And I was like, I didn't serve myself. Like, this is the food that they gave me. And so it was always, and I mean, elementary school, you've got crushes. And so you are put in a position to where if you've got a crush on somebody and the immediate inclination is you're overweight, you're embarrassing, I don't want to be seen with you. I remember one of the most embarrassing times was in elementary school. Someone said, you like this girl. And I remember I couldn't change my face quick enough to say no. And me fighting, saying no, the teacher kicks me outside. And so I'm looking out the window while my entire table that I was sitting with is all talking about it, and walking in, sitting down, and then knowing that relationship with that girl that I liked at the time, it changed ever since then, because she went out of her way to make sure I knew that there was no interest there whatsoever.
Right.
And so there were many moments where, man, to be honest with you, and if we're being real deal, this is something that I haven't shared before, but in middle school, I have someone publicly in a class full of maybe 40 people and the teacher, teacher, is it true, and I'm the only overweight person in the classroom, is it true that, people who are overweight tend to have small penises?
Stop it.
And I'm like, and I'm the only big guy in the room, and 2 or 3 people look at me. And the teacher stumbles, delays and so excuse me, are we in show and tell? I mean, what? But just having a moment like that to where, like, it's being audibly said that any way that someone could call out or point out my weight and what it potentially could lead to, or what this and what that, it was out there. Yeah,
no one protects the fat kid. No one ever protects the fat.
No one.
No,
it is a rare. That is true. It is a rare case where that happens.
Yeah. On our last show, I was telling David and our last guest a story about my gym teacher in middle school. Well, I used to have to take gym class. I used to have to write book reports instead of doing gym because I was like a health liability or whatever. And my gym teacher looks at me and she goes, "Don't you ever want to have sex one day?" And I was like, "Well, what the fuck do you mean, Miss Campbell?" And she was like, how do you expect to hump and thrust if you're so big? I swear to God, I didn't even know what to say at that point. I was just like, you fucking win. You got it. You fucking win. You got me.
It's so interesting, that front too, because it's like we all have those stories. I mean, we're playing a story. We'll play the little story circle here.
Yeah.
My senior year of high school, I'm 400 pounds, and I would in our high school district, we had 3 high schools. Between the 3 high schools, we had 4,000 kids. Because you're the funny fat guy, this is not even trying to be like, I was the most well-known kid in the entire school district. Like, I had over 500, almost 1,000 people at my graduation party that I had with a buddy of mine. And we're at the basketball semifinals against East Grand Rapids. And we hate East Grand Rapids. Why? Because they're the richest school, pompous. They're just arrogant people. I love EGR. A lot of arrogant people in EGR. And there was this guy who was on the EGR parents area cussing at our coach, like saying, "Fuck you, Harvey," and like cussing at the players, cussing at the refs. This is a high school basketball game. Like, you would expect someone to do something. Nothing. So I took it on myself. I walked over there from the student section. I go up to this guy and I go, "Hey, can you respectfully, can you stop badgering our players like that, and coach? It's just not respectful." Like, I'm not kidding you. I said it like that, smooth as can be. Just hey, it's not acceptable. He looks at me and he goes, "Shut up, fat ass." The best part about it, number one, this guy's in his 50s. Number two, he's sitting next to another 400-pound dude. And so, of course, I look at the other 400-pound dude and I go, "Do you find it interesting that he used my weight as a discrediting of him being an asshole?" And the fat guy's like, "Don't bring me into this."
I love when smart people argue. Discrediting. I would never say discrediting in an argument.
And oh my gosh, it was an event. But it is fascinating how even like in your 40s and 50s, these adults can be children, just children. But yeah.
So before we move on, and before, because I definitely want to know where it started, how you began, the whole spiel. But before we really get to that, I really need to know some of those top meals that your grandma used to make you, those Cuban meals that you were eating back in the day.
Baby.
Yeah, I need that. I need the visual.
Who had some breaded steak. So this was the oil that stayed in the same cast iron pan. The cast iron pan wasn't washed. If
right,
you don't
ever.
No. Sitting in the same oil for 5 or 6 days, and she's breading it herself. She's got the thin steak, and as soon as you dip it in, you hear the real deep pops. That oil's been sitting and it's gooey, and when it pops, it's got the pop. And so you've got the breaded steak. She did the papas, which she would get little like ground beef, this soiled seasoned beef, roll it in some mashed potatoes, and then dip that in the same oil. So I think it was croquetas or papas. And then she had the croquetas. Big thing she always had was the Cuban rice. So you had the rice, you had the bits of egg, bits of bacon in there, little bits of, what am I thinking of? The green vegetable, celery.
The green vegetable.
Massive, what's that vegetable? What it's green. No. So she had a big thing of that. Oh boy, what was the other one? That was always Cuban coffee. So we always had Cuban coffee going. So those were the main three: the breaded steak, the papas, and the rice. And it was just, what is? I forgot it now, but tiene comer, as she would always say. And are you hungry? And
yes,
yeah.
Sí, grandma.
Yeah, so that I think I really pulled a Kevin Malone and had first breakfast, second breakfast, first lunch, and then went into fourth dinner. And yeah, it was just, I was constantly eating with the ice cream, no physical activity.
Yeah.
I grew up in Southern California, Inglewood, so there was no going outside. There was drive-by shootings every other night. So there wasn't, hey, let's go play outside and kick the ball around. No, duck your head, don't get shot, and eat. Okay, I'll eat. And, well, there's another contributing factor.
You're just making yourself a bigger target, right?
True. Slower too.
No, actually, they did who did it? Was it Mythbusters? They did it where they took a pig fat and they tested how many inches thick pig fat had to be before it stopped a bullet. So if you weighed over, it was like 920 pounds in belly fat and like a person, you would stop a bullet before it would stop a 9mm before it got to your organs. So if you weighed more than 900 pounds, you could stop a bullet.
All right. So, Dusty was not 900 pounds though.
That would have been cool.
That would have been brutal.
11 years old, 900 pounds.
Yeah. Oof, baby.
TLC.
Yeah, you would have had that verification tag way before. You would have been verified.
At 11 years old, yeah, I would have been on a bunch of TV shows about what went wrong with this boy.
I love it, just the fact that your story is very simple. Like, there's no, the reason why I say that is like, there's no, I love when there's stories that don't have massive contributing factors. Like, I just was at home a lot. My family fed me a lot. I went on this roller coaster. It wasn't like I had some catastrophic event. It wasn't like I had some whatever. It was just, hey, it was life, and it was just a sequence of bad events that that's it.
And there's you can point to catastrophic events that you see and hear about, like, oh, I lost this person, I lost this, and you can contribute to that. A lot of stuff happened internally, and a lot of the rejection that happens as a kid, a lot of the why are they weighing people in 5th grade and telling the whole class what their weight is? You have so many of these moments that just build. And when you get to 534 pounds, you feel like it's impossible. You're drowning. There's no hope. And what keeps me going is that I feel like I got a life raft, and I'm above water, and I'm breathing. And a lot of what sharing on Instagram is for all of us is we found the buoy, and we're screaming as loud as we can. Listen, at the end of the day, we don't have to share shirtless photos. We don't have to share before and afters. You don't have to know about my personal life. Right. But we found a buoy, and we're screaming as hard as we can with our pictures, before and afters, and everything in between. Hey, like, hold on a little bit longer. That buoy's coming. And the contributing factors that led up to it got me to my top weight. But the big events now, I would say, are a part of what this community on social media in general has helped kind of lead us to. And that's why it's so important that all of us, including a lot of other prominent people, are sharing their story, because it doesn't have to be that big catastrophic event to lead us there. You can have small things that just ingrain themselves and get you to a top weight.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I feel like there always comes a time in our lives, those of us that, we're always kind of morbidly obese as children, where we kind of learn to accept that we're the fat kid, that we, it's blatantly obvious to us. It gets to the point where it's like, everyone around us has called us fat so many times that we're beating them to the punchline, not in a humorous way, but just like, I already know what you're going to say, so I'm going to take the ammo out of your gun, and that's it. You can't shoot me. You're done here. It's over. Did you have that? Do you remember, just automatically, just a time of your life where you're just like, fuck it, I know I'm the fat kid. Like, do you have anything else that you could say about me?
Yeah.
If you're waiting, I got a story that can kind of put it forward. If you're thinking about it
like that, it feels like I feel like I've never seen it like that before, because it makes me think that I willingly abused myself more by just taking it and internalizing it. Like, I don't remember the moment like, hey, I'm the fat guy. I might have had those moments, but I feel like I connect with the person that I was before, to where I would just let them laugh and just take it.
Yeah, see, mine was my freshman year of college. This is where I knew I was just owning it. I was like, hey, I'm going to own this. I had my freshman year of college. In my first day, my roommates, we were all blind. We'd never met each other before. And we're in our dorm room. And I was like, you guys want to see a magic trick? And they were like, sure. And I had my buddy Troy. He still brings the story up to this day. Troy was a marathon runner, and then he got me. It was just hysterical. And I put his cell phone on the edge of the desk, and I whip up my shirt without touching my tit. I'd flick it up, grab the cell phone under my tit, pull out, drop my shirt, and walk away. And his cell phone was underneath my boob, and I just walk away. I would own it, because it was like, if I'm gonna be the fat guy, I'm gonna be the funny fat guy, and I'm just gonna do stupid shit. And that was
watch out.
This is why David's Grand Rapids most eligible bachelor, everyone, right there.
And see, now that you say that, I would have moments to where, hey, have you guys ever seen how many things I can hold underneath my Dunlap?
Yeah.
Let me see the remote control. Boom. I remember fitting like 5 or 6 controls. I don't know why we had 5 or 6 controls. All right, guys, we got 5 fans. Oh man, we need controls for everything. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I hit everything. I remember putting a book, a couple changers, and then I would do a bounce up and down, and everything would just fall out. So yeah, I have plenty of look what I can do. Yeah.
So what was that first diet you went on ever, where you finally were just like, all right, we're gonna try it. We're gonna do something.
Slim Fast.
Of
The little
course.
shakes.
Okay.
Yes. How old were you?
I'm drinking Slim Fast while eating whatever I'm still eating now. But Slim Fast is going to do something in there. I need you to get in there and get to work.
Yeah.
And gained a little bit of weight from Slim Fast. Those are calorie dense.
Yeah, man.
And so I'm eating like normal, and then I'm getting liquid density of calories. Woo!
But it's okay, Mom. I'm doing Slim Fast.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. So I think Slim Fast attributed to one of my chins. Just Slim Fast.
By the way, I want to talk about your chins later because you're the only former fat guy I know that does not have the turkey neck, and I want to know how you don't have the turkey neck.
He's that lean.
No, that does not count, dude. I don't even want to. I could take mine and look at that for everyone to see right here. Do you do these? I call those man Kegels, by the way. I call them mouth Kegels. I know that's probably not the most appropriate thing to say.
No, you got the Jawzerciser. What's the little thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I kind of do some of those, and then I make my skin med taut, and I just kind of keep chewing. Yeah, now keep chewing. Chew. There you go. But put your head up a little bit more. There it is.
I'm dying.
Rough, man. Whew.
Yeah, no, it's a workout. It's good. All right, so you started with the Slim Fast shakes. Obviously, you saw, hey, I'm probably eating, twice as much calories as I was already kind of consuming. What kind of made you end that? Was it just a logical, like, hey, stop doing this? Or was it like,
I don't want to drink this, like, choppy, bored tasting. No, like, I'll just eat regular. Like, I'm not losing any weight. No. Yeah. So nothing happened after the first week. So I was like, well, these don't work.
Right. And then where did we go from there? We went back down the rabbit hole and we ate like we did, or we tried something else?
Oh, yeah. We went to town. We were like, all right, I missed 2 weeks of just going to town. And so I'm going to go to Retown, the town, and Double Town.
How many fad roller coasters did you get? Like if you were to put a number to it from
over 30.
Over 30.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're talking about MetaFast, Weight Watchers, Atkins, form of Atkins, a form of the South Beach diet, the North Beach diet, the pills. I took water pills. There was a sprinkle. There was a sprinkle, and I don't remember it. But you sprinkle it.
Oh, you sprinkled something on the food. Yeah, I know what you were talking about.
Yeah, it was like high school. You sprinkle stuff, and it's like a miracle powder.
It makes you feel fuller faster. Or
yes.
And
it had mad fiber on it.
Yep. Like, come on.
I remember that one.
I remember cellophane. It wasn't really a diet, but I would wrap my whole body.
Oh, it works in the cellophane one?
And I would just sit there and let the water drip out. Whenever I would walk around the house, I would wear that wax jumpsuit. Gosh, now I'm having to think back.
Did you do like the soup and grapefruit diet? That was a fun one. That one was miserable.
Yeah.
The cabbage and grapefruit? Was it cabbage?
Oh no, I remember a soup and grapefruit one. It was just like plain. It was that plain chicken broth that used to come in the cardboard box, and you could only drink the broth, and you were allowed
like bone broth.
Yeah, and then you were allowed like half a fucking grapefruit, and that was it, and you were good to go. And I was not good to go. It was not. Yeah. I passed by Taco Bell and I was like, I need a cheesy gordita crunch.
And it's what's fascinating though too, because I will go full circle here. And this is like going through everything you just said. Weight Watchers, Atkins, pseudo this off of this. What's fascinating to me is there are success stories and sustainability stories in all of those. Now, some more than others. But it's fascinating, and that's where like I love how you keep on going to the mental shift of things, because it's the same thing with me where it's just like I don't believe in a one size fits all plan, like, and the mental shift is way more pivotal than the system you use to live a healthy lifestyle. But I love how you just kept on saying all those, because there are phenomenal Weight Watcher stories, there are phenomenal South Beach stories, there are phenomenal Atkins stories, and it's fascinating how some people do it and some people don't, and where the rubber meets the road, and what's your change, what's your story for the sequence, because I think that's what creates connection and understanding, is because most people know that so much.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, you're
so
finding out what works for you, and
Mhm.
it's not that I didn't count calories before. It's just I was working off of, and this is the danger of the keto pages taking our photos and reposting it, is I was working off someone else's diet. That person did that diet. I have to
Right.
do that. And I think you
Mhm.
had McKenna recently
Yes.
on
Uh-huh.
here.
Yep.
And I
Kayla.
think she went keto until she
Hmm.
found out that she had celiac and she
Yeah.
went to a vegan-based diet. Like, I love her story because it's, well, we got to do keto. And for some, keto doesn't work
No.
long term. It's not sustainable. Can you do what you're doing 5 years from now? Because at the end of the day, if you can't do it 5 years from now, whenever you can do it till, that person is going to remind you of how you got up to your top weight, and those tendencies of getting you to your top weight are going to happen again. It's not going to
Right.
go away. So finding what works for you. Weight Watchers could work for you. I've seen plenty of people on it and do great.
Yeah.
Keto could work for you. Whatever works for you, you've got to find that. And that's the tough part. Everyone wants to reach out and message, well, what did you do? How
Yes.
did
Mhm.
you do it? It's
We've
a
said this three
question.
in a row.
Yeah, we just said this the last episode. Actually, we were discussing, the common variable of getting that DM and it always being, well, what did you do? I want to know exactly what you did, how you ate, when you ate, what you did, when did you wake up, when did you brush your teeth, all that. Like, and I can't give that to somebody. It's like, it's not selfish. I'm not being selfish at all. And there's not like a book that's going to come out afterward to be like, hey, but if you want to know, you can buy my book right now and I'll totally hook you up. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's my body is different than your body. The chemistry it's science. David's the science guy and he'll explain it. I don't have time for that, but I'm just going to let you know if you ate like I did, you're probably not going to have success.
Yeah.
And we have to find it. So that brings me to actually the very pivotal question of how did you find what worked for you?
So at at my top weight, I had some issues that I've been transparent about now. I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't planning on being that transparent recently, talking about my self-hygiene problems where I couldn't shower correctly, that I
Yeah.
had to have help. I'm grateful I was married, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
and full transparency. I'm glad I had a wife that was supporting somebody who couldn't properly bathe themselves, and she was
Yeah.
there for me. I couldn't use I remember going to Magic Mountain in Southern California and trying to get on the roller coasters, is not working, going to the restroom. Now, if you're in Southern California, you know that there's a Chevron station right outside Six Flags, and that Chevron station has tile built restrooms,
Yeah.
but they are so small that if you're someone who was my size, you can't lean. You pretty much have to sit and
I
do
hate
this.
that. Yes.
You
I remember
can't
those
lean.
days.
You can't do anything. So I remember using the restroom, not being able to clean myself, putting on my clothes,
Yeah.
getting in the car and going a mile down the road, not clean, and
Right.
going to a restroom that was open enough that I could wipe. So I had clear indications that there was a problem. I'm
Yes.
gasping for air in the middle of the night. This is the sound that is synonymous for the
Like
house.
sleep apnea, or
So I didn't go after the diagnosis of it because I didn't want something to tell me that I needed to lose weight. I was in denial and full form. I didn't want to hear that. So I would take a breath in while I'm sleeping and let it out.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife would always record me in that sound because it sounded like the Ring, the Ring. And so I was to understand now that my body was taking in oxygen, trying to survive, trying to live while I was slowly letting it out just to retain oxygen. So at the peak of all that, finally, I'm going to die. I talked to my doctor and I started my journey July of 2016 with the bypass at the recommendation of my doctor. And I was scared because I've heard the surgery. They're going to chop you up. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And I had weighed that out with my doctor. And my doctor was very adamant that I don't know if I'm going to see you in 6 months. And so something has to change. And prior to that, he actually put me on a doctor-monitored Medifast program.
Right.
And the Medifast program was something that I was monitored, but I wasn't even successful at that because I went on his plan, but food addiction stepped in. I went on the plan and I didn't see results because of thyroid problems. I didn't see a lot of what they were expecting to see. And so that final conversation was, this is going to be the best option for you. And so I started the journey thinking the surgery is going to take care of this. The surgery is going to do something for this. And I started my journey in July 2016, but I would dare say that my real journey started about 4 months in. 4 months in, when it was, I still have hunger.
Right.
Oh, I have to work out.
I can
Oh,
attest to
I
this.
have to. Well, what do I do with these emotions? What do I do with this stress? I need to isolate myself based on what's happening at work right now. What am I isolating myself with?
Right.
And so that's why, honestly, and I commend those that shared their journey from the beginning, shared their surgery date, shared the start of keto, paleo, whatever diet, shared and are sharing in between, because I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do, because I was such an emotional, when I talked about earlier, the outward looking heroin addicts and how that was inwardly my mind. I was in full form emotional breakdown, real housewives of my mind,
Yeah.
dramatic. I was breaking down, running to other rooms, getting emotional, having outbursts. I was manifesting all that I had dwelt, the statements as a child, all that stuff come to a head to where I have to do something about it. I'm going to
Yeah.
die. And so my journey started with the bypass, but I quickly learned that it didn't do anything for the food addiction, didn't do anything for
Fact.
my food dependency. It didn't get me up to go work out. In fact, my doc was like, listen, this is going to work for you. This is going to work and help aid the start of it. But just to let you know, your body regulates. Your body
Yes.
gets used to things. Just like you go work out for 6 weeks doing the same workout, your body gets used to it. It's easy. Your body's going to regulate. So if you don't catch up on how your mind processes food, your body's going to catch right back up to where you were. And so it was almost like that. If I've got to do something this serious, I've got to change things. And I guess I'll end with this. I made a promise as I was getting wheeled back into the doctor's office. I made a promise to my wife. I said, honey, this is a risk and I'm getting surgery. I'm potentially threatening my life right now. If I do this, and I remember looking at her in the eye, being in the gown, I was naked underneath the gown. They had just wiped me down with the sanitation. I looked at her, I said, if I do this, I'm really doing this, and I'm not going back, and
Yep.
I can't go back. And so that's really where it started for me, that promise to her.
Man, I can feel that so much, very similar to myself. What I find very funny is, so like the surgery is not a one size fit all type of scenario for those that really don't know. So just to put it in perspective for you, Dusty got his surgery 5 months before me. You said you had it July 2016?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had mine November 2016, and you had bypass, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had the sleeve. You were only 20 pounds heavier than me. That's it. And my doctor told me that I needed that, sleeve would be fine for me. And, that's what, because I went in with the full intention of, already telling myself, hey, they're going to tell you you're going to need bypass. Like, that's what is going to happen now.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, you can, the sleeve will be fine. Everything will work out. And for those that don't know, the only difference between the sleeve and the bypass is the sleeve, my stomach is shaped like a banana. His is kind of shaped like a golf ball. And that's really all it is. I think they reattach your big intestine somewhere, right? They do a little.
Because my absorbency is different as far as that's. I think that's why I've got to take vitamins, or I had to commit to take vitamins for the rest of my life, is because of the absorbency.
Right.
But talk to the doc. There's differences, but there's a lot of similarities with it.
Right.
And,
So you're a while out like myself. Would you say would you say that you could almost eat as much as you could at 500 pounds now?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Easy.
Cool. Easy.
I can
Without
go
a
to
doubt.
Costco and get a whole tub of mangoes, and go through the whole thing. Easy.
Right. Easy. Okay, cool. Because I want more people to know that and to hear that it's not going to stay itty bitty, polka dot bikini forever. It's not. That's just not how it is. The stomach will stretch. It'll go back.
That's why there's revision surgery so common now, is that you start with the sleeve, realize that, that you can get right back to the same size. And
Yes.
Revision surgeries happen because it wasn't tackled
properly.
Yeah. And so you've got to make a revision
on the mental aspect of it. And now you said something before also that kind of tickled my fancy a little bit. You said that the surgery kind of didn't really help up here. You know, it was more the physical thing. And it's funny because I tell people that my surgery actually helped me fix up here and helped me defeat a lot of the food addiction that I had, because I allowed the restriction to be restriction at first. And then I kind of had that one-on-one. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, hey, listen, fatty, we're done. Like, that's it. You can't do it. And if you're going to do it, you're going to have revision. And do you want to do this again? But it's just, it's very, humbling is probably not the word, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's very humbling to me to know that there is the other side of every coin. You know what I mean? And you're the success story of the bypass, and you're not somebody that had the bypass and turns around and said, oh, you know, it fixed me soup to nuts, guys. Like, my brain's good, my body's good, everything, my dick looks great, everything's perfect. Like, it's not like that. You know, you had to hit the pavement. You had to relearn. You had to teach yourself how to eat again. You had to know why these foods are reacting this way in your body and what your addictions are. You know, you said something earlier. You kind of compared your old self, that food addict self, to like a heroin addict, right? And, you know, I kind of say something very similar to people around me too. I was like a drug addict. And what a lot of people don't realize, especially us that are obese, we're obese, you know, in that realm, your body can't tell the difference between cocaine and sugar, which is my favorite scientific fact of the world. So I'm the science guy. I'm David, and I'm here to tell you, your body.
I'm so proud of you.
Your body eats sugar, and it thinks it's cocaine, which is my favorite fact in the world, because it really does. Mm-hmm. It really does, and you really are addicted to food. So let's just all imagine now, in a perfect world, where society treated food addiction the same way it did drug addiction, right? Drug addiction is now a disease. Okay, it's
food addiction's worse though than drug addiction.
I 1,000% agree. I think that it's way worse.
You can leave drugs behind. You can't leave food behind.
But do you want to know? And this is just me being a little fucking weird and kind of maybe a little bit conspiracy theorist here, but it's my podcast and I can say what I want. Do you want to know? No, yeah. Hey, relax there. Calm down, buddy. It's getting to a good point. Do you want to know why they don't treat it the same way? Because the government can't make money off the drugs you're buying on the street, but they can make money off the food you're buying at Taco Bell. And that's why. And the milk companies, you know, the milk companies got milk. Those posters, they meant shit growing up. I don't care. I'm still mad that they had Michael Jordan in my cafeteria with a milk mustache trying to tell me to drink chocolate milk with a cheeseburger. There is something wrong if you're drinking a chocolate milk with a fucking cheeseburger.
Yeah. Money is the
100%.
Money is the cause. Yeah, absolutely. Money is the cause. And the food addiction side, like it's not going to. I lost my train of thought because your point was so darn good.
Oh, thank you.
Talking about Michael Jordan with the
milk mustache.
The milk mustache. Yeah, that's right. There's no money in people taking care of themselves. The diet and weight loss community, there's money there. And so if we can condition, honestly, there's even good-hearted shows that show transformational weight loss in a program and like, hey, look, this person lost this amount, and they'll go through the whole season and go through the weeks. You're trying to tell me subconsciously that in 18 weeks I could look like that, and we don't realize what
extreme weight loss.
It does. Like, that subconsciously says, man, it can happen that quick, and it's
that's
like,
why I don't watch those shows. That's why I never liked those shows.
I absolutely despised
Biggest Loser. Hated it.
It's because it's so bad. Like, oh my gosh.
Setting you up for an improper timeline.
Absolute failure.
That's that. When we talk about mental health and the addiction and dealing with that, it's understanding what subconsciously you're telling yourself without realizing it that causes you to fail. Mm-hmm. Like calling something a cheat meal. It's like, I'm calling something a cheat meal. I'm saying that the other side of that cheat, that relief, is torture. Right. So, of course, when we're going back to our diet, we're feeling so restricted and torturous that we step off any diet that we go on, because we are subconsciously setting a standard that a diet is torture and that a cheat meal is relief, and I can live my whole life with the cheat torture.
And a diet.
You are literally like my twin.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Tortured my whole life. Like,
so I call it celebration meals.
I call them treat meals. They're treats.
Nobody got time for that. Like, I can have mangoes in the full extent of mangoes.
Oh yeah.
And balance that out. And there's a big difference between calling it a cheat and balance. Subconsciously, for me,
100%.
I have it, because it balances what I relatively stick to according to plan. And I've found a balance. We talk about what works for you, what works for them. You've got to find out what works for you, because mangoes might not work for you.
Yeah.
Someone posted about getting mangoes. I'm like, all right, you go get mangoes. But if those mangoes are leading you down something else, you better watch out, because there's a lot of carbs and sugars in those. Woo.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, because I'll do the quick synopsis, because we talked about in the past on previous episodes. I call the health of America and pretty much the world, but primarily America, as the triad. It's the perfect storm. You got number one, you got doctors that are not trained in the psychological and the nutritional understanding of life. They're just not. They're trained in pharmaceutical and emergent care. That's what they're taught. They're not taught just healthy lifestyle. That's just not what they. If that were true, then why are 30+% of all doctors overweight or obese?
Right.
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Good.
So number two is the pharmaceutical industry. It's a shisty, manipulative, get you on every day, every week, every year game. Yeah. And then finally, it's the last part of the triad that no one wants to talk about. Everyone wants to blame the first two, but no one wants to talk about the last one, which is personal accountability.
Right.
And it's like, you think about it from my dad's perspective, being a cardiologist, he's got a guy in there who's 410 pounds, who's a smoker. And he's like, all right, he's not stopped smoking. He won't stop eating. So I'm at least going to put him on a statin. So hopefully he doesn't have a heart attack. And so it's like, what are you going to do? And so that's how I always explain it with the general health of Americans, is this perfect triad right now.
Yeah. Right. And we are the guinea pigs. We are the victims. And that's where that's a big kind of drive for me now. Like, I don't want to be the victim of what your plan is. Like, I want to control the narrative. I'm going to control how this goes. And for so long, I was controlled by emotions, controlled by stress, controlled by the industry. And I had to take that aggressive approach and say, no, like what your plan for me is, no, I'm going to write this, because I get this life once. That's it. That's all. I'm uniquely designed. No one else has got my fingerprint. And by me saying that means I get to live this unique life the way I want to and the way I intend to. And I intend to live in a way that I can go to a clothing store and dress into something that I want to dress. I want to go on a roller coaster. I want to go walk up a hill and not be out of breath. I control the narrative. And the triad is like, you can be a victim of the triad, or you can say, you know what? No, like, I control this narrative. I'm not going to be controlled.
I agree. One thing I would love to hear, because off of that whole point, you jabbed at it. I'd be intrigued to know the details, because again, I think one of the things that's so important with people's stories is the more stories, the more it contributes. Oh, wow, he's from wait, you're from Inglewood? I'm from Inglewood. Oh, he's just like me. And you start to find some connections. Right. You made that jab at having thyroid issues towards the top end of your weight. What was that like? How did you transition out of that? What was that called? Was it actually something you had to really deal with, or it just kind of fixed itself as you just forced yourself to fix your healthy habits?
It was something that I knew about, and I wasn't prescribed a plan to get through it. It was almost like put that on my tab of things that I was dealing with. One of the big concerns that my doctor had was fatty liver. He said I was pretty close. I think I'm saying this right. Cirrhosis of the liver. Yep. I was pretty close to that. He did a biopsy while he was doing the surgery. In fact, the surgery, discovering hernias that you never knew were there, and having them have the opportunity to fix that, doing the biopsy on the liver, there were a couple different benefits of the surgery that I take away from it. I'm grateful for, because I was able to find stuff out. But with the cirrhosis of the liver, the thyroid, these were just amongst all. I had numbness in my leg that was plaguing me for years, and like I think 10 plus years. That's my simple solution is like, well, if I lose weight, hopefully it'll take care of myself. I didn't develop a plan to address the thyroid issues that the doctor was mentioning, but it was like my overall put it on my tab, add it to amongst the other things. If I just lose weight, maybe it'll take care of it. Hopefully.
Cool.
So after you break through that 4 months, right? You kind of rediscover yourself. What is that like? What is this new awakening that's happening in Dusty, past these 4 months, where you finally decide, I got to get my act together mentally. It's more mental than it is physical.
Yeah, the gym was really instrumental. That's why this recent transition in California of closing the gyms was tough.
I feel you too.
Why kind of I've really come into the find a way mentality now is with the gym closed. That was a staple for me. I didn't go to the gym until probably 4 to 5 months in. I just started by walking. I started something small. I just
Hmm.
did something that was so minimal that it could lead to a habit and that I could do consistently. So when I got into the gym, when I was really facing that stuff, the gym was instrumental because hat on, and a lot of people make comments about me constantly wearing hats. Well, if you see the hot mess that's up
Yeah.
here right now, I have just cause. But I had my hat down, headphones on, hoodie over, and just music on as loud as it could go, and just putting in work. And I was addressing the stresses of life in the four walls of the Iron Paradise.
That's
When
awesome.
something was tough, I and this is how I reason it. If I can get through lifting that weight and being exhausted after lifting that weight, if I can get through this, I can get through anything.
Fact.
Hmm.
And I still had stressful moments, still had tough times, but I was able to get in there and they talk about transfer of addiction. It's not like I just woke up into like, I've discovered I have a problem. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be better. Good morning, tomorrow. I'm
Yeah.
better now. Like, I went through a transition of addiction from food addiction. I went to like a Iron Paradise gym addiction to shopping. To I had to buy a $4 or $5 thing on this like cheap Amazon website, and I had to continually buy stuff. I had to buy new shoes. I had to have something. I had to scratch the itch. And so it wasn't that overnight my addiction changed to food and dealing with
Right.
it, but it was almost like I transitioned to something I could manage a little bit more than food,
Yep.
transitioning to something I can manage a little bit more. And so it eventually got better. But I really think getting in the gym and providing a resource to let stuff out. Like I was isolating myself in eating and just kind of absorbing food, absorbing just everything that I had stressed out about, worried about. Well, now I opened myself up and put work in the gym, went for a walk, let out what I was feeling, let out what was going on in my head, and it's proved beneficial. I've actually noticed that the I get more creative when I run and when I walk. So if I'm thinking about something, trying
Hmm.
to develop something, it happens over the course of me running, walking, or working out for a long period of time and
Yes.
having headphones in. I have that time for meditation. And I think sometimes we think meditation is just for if you're spiritual, if you're religious, you go to church. No,
Mm-mm.
meditation is a fundamental proven fact to bring you in a better state if you're struggling with depression, struggling with anxiety. There are fundamental things that you can do just simply with meditation. And for me, a lot of my meditation happens now at the gym. And
Yep.
that's
Hmm.
where 4 or 5 months into the journey, that's where I addressed a lot of it.
That's
That's
awesome.
I love the whole meditation thing because first and foremost, meditation for anyone doesn't have to be yum 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 yum. Like everyone thinks that meditation is this like meditation is pure and simple the focused thought for an extended period of time, whatever that may be. So you can get it through cardio, you can get it through strength training. Like I call it like it is meditation, baby. When you're sitting there doing a bicep curl and you're like just shaking it. That is meditation through and through because you are focused on one single thing for as long as possible.
Right.
And so, but meditation actually, I got into that when, like my 6-8 months into my transformation because I took a Buddhism class in college and got into meditation, and it actually helped me with food cravings. It really did.
Yeah.
Like when I get a food craving, I start meditating, and I would just do empty thought meditation. It would help with my food cravings.
There are research studies because I'm doing this now as I'm going to school. There are research studies that point to drug and alcohol addiction being directly addressed, and you're able to overcome it in a better way through meditation. And so, if drug and alcohol is an addiction, well, let's talk about food addiction. If you're wanting to deal with food addiction, meditation has very, very good benefits. And again,
Right.
you don't have to be religious. If I were to call it prayer and somebody were to call it someone else, that's on you. It's your journey. But me, myself, if I'm sitting 10, 20 minutes and I'm focusing on releasing everything else around, there's a process to that. And it really, really helps. And the gym is a form of meditation for me.
I love that. That's beautiful. So where I know we have you on here for way over an hour. I know that you have a workout that you're trying to get to, but just a couple more questions
Let's
for you.
do
There
it.
you
Come
go.
on, let's flap out them questions, boys. Woo!
Break out them hallelujah, baby. So how long did it take you to lose your first 100 pounds, and how long did it take you to lose the classic Dusty lost 300?
So got down to my kind of general weight where I'm at, 2.5 years.
Right.
I went on lengthy stalls, and so stalls are close to my heart. Plateaus are close because as much as people hate them, they allow you. They're almost your badge of honor to make it on the maintenance of your journey. Because if you can't be patient through stalls and plateaus, you're not going to make it when you get to your goal weight. You've got to be patient through it. So 2.5 years. The first 100 pounds, I would say months. Gosh, I had an app that I was tracking it with, and I remember celebrating that day. But it took months. For me to get there.
Yeah. No. I feel with that surgery, it kind of for the same for me. It was like 2.5 years to reach where I'm kind of at right now, and it was like maybe 4 to 6 months to reach that 100-pound milestone. So
yeah, because your body settles differently, and to be honest, it depends on what you're going for. If you're going to lose weight just to, I want to see the number on the scale be this particular number, then you're going to look way different than someone that says, hey, you know what, I'm going to hit the gym, I'm going to focus on muscle retention.
Right.
Muscle retention will slow your weight loss. You're going to put, like the doctor says, I want you at 180. What? 180?
Yeah.
180? Like,
how tall are you again?
I'm 217 right now. I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
And
right.
I'm like,
he wants
I'm
you
not
at
losing any
180,
more weight.
6'3"?
Like, you remove the 7 to 10 pounds I've got. I'm like, no, I'm not going to 180.
Right.
But they focus on the BMI.
That's the BMI, which I can't
such
stand.
A joke.
Yeah.
I have this conversation with my dad.
It's the stupidest thing in the world.
Dude, my BMI,
I
think the last time I checked, I think my BMI is supposed to be like 160. I'm supposed to be 160, I think. I'm 6'5". It's some crazy. Yeah. According to BMI, I'm still overweight, guys. Like, I can't stand it.
Oh, it's so funny because I got down to, when I did my bodybuilding show, I got down to, I was probably like 7-8%
right
body fat.
Dang.
And I was at 212, but 6 foot 212, that would have put me at a BMI of like 20, 23, maybe 25.
And you were still fat.
And I was considered still overweight.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like how like boys and girls, BMI has its own place just because.
I'm just loading up BMI while you're talking. I'm loading up BMI here just so I can throw it out.
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's the biggest hunk of bullshit in the world.
Yeah.
Dude,
but
get off the number on the scale. Get off the BMI. Like there's so many more important things. Like, no one talks about resting heart rate, visceral fat, body fat. Yeah. And those are leading indicators on if you're okay.
Hold on. What's your resting heart rate?
49.
Let's go. Okay, I'm 47. I'm 47.
I'm in that ballpark too.
40. I think it's 55 and below is you've got an active lifestyle. You're pretty active. The lowest I've gone, I think, is 45. And that was I was like, am I gonna die?
But then flip of the coin.
There's some people in the 30s, like triathletes, 30 something. I'm like.
But then blood pressure, your boy, when he was 410 pounds, before I took my blood pressure meds, my resting blood pressure was 190 over 110.
Yeah, dude, my blood pressure was out of control. I can't even tell you numbers. My blood pressure was out of control. I didn't want to perform
my root canal because they take your blood pressure. Like, are you okay? Are you feeling like, feeling fine? You guys gonna get working here? Like,
no, your heart could stop.
And you're pretty bad.
Yeah, I almost couldn't get a endoscopy once because they said my blood pressure was way too high, and because of my asthma, they wouldn't put me on the anesthesia because they said you would die on the table. And I was like, "What?
Will you get in there?
You're just gonna do what you gotta do. I got things to do after this. Taco Bell's
fine.
Hello, Taco Bell?
Like 6 weeks after my 6 or 8 weeks after my surgery, I had my wisdom teeth pulled, all 4 of them.
Oh, you were never eating.
Fantastic, smart idea to do that right after the surgery. Just great idea.
Really good. That was great. All right, Dusty, we've been chewing your ear off for about an hour and a half, and I do want to thank you. Before we do wrap this up and let you go, I have 2 very important questions for you, okay? Are you ready? Are you strapped in? Are you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Dusty, you have the opportunity to go back in time and talk to your 11-year-old self. who knows nothing of what is going to become of the great Dusty Lost 300. You have an opportunity to speak to him. What is something that you tell him?
Don't let anyone else around you control your narrative. Don't let anyone tell you who you're going to be, how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to be. Be you in the most authentic way possible, and forget about what other people think about you in the room. That's huge.
That was spicy. I like that.
I was driven by what people thought. As soon as I walk in the room, are they looking at me because I'm fat?
Yes.
I would tell the 11-year-old me, hey, focus on you. That I might have been good at something. I might have been able to focus on a career or something, but I was so wrapped up in what people thought of me that I missed a lot of opportunities. So if I could talk to that person, I would convey and convince them it's first me. Like, hey, it's me in 30 years or me in 20 years. But don't let them write your story. Write your own story. Go after what you want, and don't be controlled by what other people think of you.
I love that. Seriously, I do. I love that one a lot. Now, the final question of the podcast is, it's a favorite of mine. I need you to give the viewers, the listeners at home, 3 solid pieces of advice from the man himself, Dusty Lost 300.
3 solid pieces of advice. Embrace the longevity of the journey. This journey is going to be for the rest of your life. You're not just going to take care of yourself for 6 months and then just give up. You've got to take care of yourself for the rest of your life. You've got one body. You look at your fingerprint, no one else has that fingerprint. That means you are unique. How you're designed, how you live this life, how you perceive it, how you look, who's around you is all unique to you. And so you should live this life to the best of your ability and take care of yourself and think of things long term. So the diet that you're on, if the exercise program that you're on can't be sustainable in 3 years, you're not going to be successful. I say that confidently as someone that went on 30 plus extreme diets. It never worked, and it got me up to the borderline cause of my death, potential death. And so that's 1. 2, take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Words carry power. Words carry a lot of meaning behind it. So if you're telling yourself, man, I'm ugly, man, I'm fat, man, I'm never going to make it, that resides somewhere that's going to come up later. So if you have a misstep, it's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. One day at a time. I say one day at a time so much right now, not because it's some magical statement, but it honestly, it puts something in mentally that says, okay, I can't control the bad workout this morning, really, that I just had this morning, but I can control what I do from that. And then number 3, pay it forward. Know that your journey is yes for you, but think about how your journey can be for someone else. And part of this life is, yes, living it to the best of our ability, but also laying down our life in a way that can help somebody else is vital and important. So if you have a story to tell it. And if you have inspiration to share it, because what I could say, what JR can say, what David could say might not reach somebody that you could potentially reach. So pay it forward. Get to a position and work hard enough to pay it forward. So those are my 3.
Those were solid, man. I love that last one. Yeah. That's an original right there. That's a Dusty original, folks. So if you hop on my podcast and you dare say pay it forward, you pay homage.
You pay homage. It forward. Us 3 amongst others, we got the life raft. We screaming. You gonna be all right. All right.
Be all right. We coming.
I know those keto pages are taking all the pages and the photos, but you gonna be all right. All right. Just settle down. Okay. You're not gonna lose 400 pounds in 8 weeks. So stop clicking on the button on the keto page. Quick story. I went to the keto page on the website because I just wanted to get giggles. You can't be under 4'10" and you can't be over 400 pounds to qualify for the keto online diet that all these scam keto pages do. Because I actually tested it. Like, I'm 450. Sorry, invalid. What do you mean invalid? I'm 450. 399 works. 400 works. 40 what? So I can't be over 400 pounds and qualify for your keto crap? Okay. So yes, we're screaming because we've all done it different ways. We're screaming there's hope.
Fucking man right here. I love
Dusty
this guy
original,
so much.
there is hope. You better settle down with that I give up crap. You better calm down.
Oh, we're gonna add one more thing because I'm just intrigued. I think you said it 3 times. I just want to confirm. What is one of the most triggering things that frustrates you about the health industry? Go.
The triggering thing. Ooh, and I don't know if it was on this podcast to start, but the ficticity. Like, listen, like I know that you've probably got great legs in those spandex pants, but are you wearing? Is it leg day every day at the gym? I mean, can you wear a t-shirt? Do we need a sports bra every single day? Like that side of like, I need to go to like, man, you ain't there to work out.
Yeah.
You put makeup on. No, I'm not
Yeah.
hating on the makeup and the jazzercise pants.
Finally,
every
some
time,
hate
but
mail we're gonna get from this one.
the
I thought that we were gonna get no hate off this podcast.
the ficticity, and I did a funny one the other day.
If you're not wearing Fabletics at your gym workout,
Right?
did you even
Gymshark.
work out?
Gymshark.
Gymshark.
The Instagram versus reality. Like I put up I was running in this real nice way, and then the next post was me setting up the camera and putting it up and then running. And it's like, well, if you're running, like I think I saw one of your videos where you were running, David, and you were holding the camera while celebrating a victory. Yeah.
Oh, I was when I ran my 7-minute mile.
Yeah, the 7-minute mile. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, you're by yourself holding the camera. That's great. But like, I'm looking at somebody in the middle of the woods. They're by themselves, and they've got a perfect action shot of them running in the woods. I'm like, well, hold on. So you set up the camera, but then had to run backwards to run in the frame. I can't do that. You know why? Because that sets a false expectation for someone that truly, genuinely needs something. So if you're like, I'm naturally like this, and it's just no. You hurt me in my journey.
Right. Drop the shoulder to make my delt look a little bigger.
At 450
put my
pounds,
hand
I
over
clicked
here.
on the keto link. I clicked on the keto links. I clicked on those. I wanted to lose 50 pounds in 8 weeks. And those things were part, what got you to 400 and 534 pounds, that was a part of it. The false expectation of the diet industry that you're going to do something so quick and it's going to last. No, don't be fake, be real. Again, you're the only you. So be the only you. If some of us, like, I know some people give JF a hard time about his mouth. I think it was a question I saw recently. Like, if you want to be an inspirational page, you've got to say.
You gotta stop cursing.
Oh, really? That happened?
Yeah.
And like they'll get on Poro about it and stuff like that. And it's like, listen, and your answer was like, listen, this is me.
Yeah.
Like this is me. And if this doesn't work for you, like at the end of the day, following and unfollowing is free 99.
Yep.
And so if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But the authenticity is just
Oh, it's so funny. Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, they all curse.
Yep.
Come on.
So,
hey, listen, that's fantastic. But hey, stay humble, okay?
Right. I got a couple for you here. You want to see the fucking wings? Here's the wings, baby. You want a thigh? You want a wing?
I got a little wing.
All right, Dusty, where can everyone listening find you on social media, YouTube, OnlyFans? Where can they find you?
Go Dusty_lost_300 pounds on Instagram and pretty much social media platforms.
And you do have a YouTube show, right?
I've got a YouTube channel. Dusty. I just recently did a TikTok. I heard TikTok's pretty.
It's pretty cool. It's dying. Hold on. There.
It
died. There.
And it's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
No, I heard TikTok's gonna die, but yeah, social platforms. Dusty lost 300 pounds. I'm pretty much on Instagram. A lot of the others are shares from Instagram, but I'm still trying to find a way to communicate in the best way possible to convey hope. And Instagram right now is the best way to do that. Maybe something more soon, but as of right now, Instagram.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate you etching out some time today and stepping in the hot seat with us. It really does mean a lot. And you are officially our first blue check guest, so thank you for that.
Let's go. That's it.
Let's
go. All these, everyone needs a check mark that is authentic. That way, these pages that take the photos and repost them, they can slowly die.
That's right.
So that way we can truly revolutionize.
And we can live. We can rise like the phoenix, baby. Rise.
You get a blue check mark, and you get a blue check mark.
All right, guys.
If we really start changing the culture, the diet culture, and say ALG is thriving, pumping out clients, doing all this stuff. I wonder who the main head figure in these weight loss offices, the suits and ties, they're going to come down and go, listen, that ALG, that's a problem. Like, we need to
Good.
we got to do something. There's a
I hope
problem.
they do.
So
I hope they do.
I'm really hoping, and yeah, I can't wait.
Shut me down, Zuckerberg. Shut me down.
Bring
all right,
it.
folks. I want to thank you all for joining us again on your Friday. I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend. As always, if you can like, share, and subscribe this, send it to a friend, send it to your grandmother, send it to your cousin, send it to your best friend, send it to the mailman. I don't give a shit. Just make them subscribe.
And
Do
if
the
you're
damn
going to
thing.
send it to a fat person, just be authentic, be respectful, and be like, hey, these are fat guys that vibe.
Yeah, we're fat guys
Yeah.
that vibe. Hashtag fat guys that vibe.
Yeah.
All right. So, and if you'd like to join the ALG community, which is growing stronger by the
You
week,
better join.
yeah, you
stop
better
playing
join.
home, look
You
right
better
in the
shoot
eye.
me a DM. You better do it because I'll give you that link. And as Dusty said before, it's free 99. All right.
Free 99. And you just saw, oh, I did a squat video yesterday. Oh, I put that ass to the grass. I showed you depth in that squat.
So if you want to see
better
ass
join the
grass
ALG
and all
community.
that jazz, you follow us, ALG. All right,
need to
guys,
do it.
enjoy the rest of your day. We are done.
Toodles.